Yo, 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 what's up? You're listening to the Paulie Z Show, and it is episode 15. And I'm excited because today we have a very special guest. And what's interesting about this guest is he is born and raised in Brooklyn, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a New York boy, but he is in LA now. So it's very interesting because I've considered going over to LA myself, and I haven't made that move yet. But we're going to find out from him today if it was worth it. I'm talking about Mr. Evan Seinfeld from Biohazard and from Oz, from Supergroup, a whole bunch of different things. He'll explain. Mr. Evan Seinfeld, say hello.
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 How you guys doing out there?
How you doing?
Evan Seinfeld, one of the last of the great rock and roll Jews, transplanted into Los Angeles, California.
That's right. Well, listen, I might be the next one. I might be taking the torch. You got to pass the torch eventually.
I'm really happy you're bringing out like the next generation, which means it doesn't die with me here.
No, it will not. I will make sure it won't because you've inspired many a rock Jew. And I'm hopefully we'll continue that tradition. But let me ask you a question. What do you think about LA? I mean, coming from Brooklyn, being a Brooklyn boy, and now being out there, you've been out there for quite a while. How do you compare it?
I gotta start by saying, I've been coming back and forth to LA since about 1988 or 89. Between when I say coming back and forth, I lived full time bi-coastally, where I didn't really live in New York or LA, and the people in the DMV can't wrap their head around it. And most people don't. Most people live in one place. And I have kids. I have one kid in New York and one kid in Miami, and I live in LA, and I live on a plane basically. So, having spent almost 25 years touring, with Biohazard, I'm not used to being in one place. So, for me, when you talk about I wonder if I'm going to make the big move to LA, I mean, I fly back and forth every week, and it to me, I like to have the world is my smorgasbord. I know you're a big foodie.
Yeah.
It's like just because I like pizza doesn't mean it's the only thing I eat. And just because I like Latinas or Asians, those aren't the only girls I have sex with. You know what I mean?
I like that. I can relate to that. I definitely relate to that.
To me, variety is the spice of life, and I can't wait to go back to New York next. I'm coming to New York this weekend, for instance. I'm in LA right now.
Right.
And it's beautiful. He's got the check. It's beautiful and it's sunny out, and next weekend I'll be in New York at some of my favorite pizzerias, eating some pizza and enjoying the things that New York has to offer. And I think the more you travel the world, the older you get, the more you realize the things you really like, and you spend the rest of the time figuring out how to enjoy them.
I guess so. I mean, after thinking about it and considering it, I realized that I would rather be bi-coastal, kind of like what you're doing. I think I would have to have one main place, that I would call home. I don't know if I could do it the way you're doing it so much. Like you're kind of like George. You're George Clooney in that new movie, Up in the Air. That's you now.
No, not that bad. Listen, that was me. Listen, that was me from about 2000 to about 2000 and till the 2007. My oldest son, Sammy, who lives in Long Island, is kind of grown up now. He doesn't call me every day. He's got a bunch of girlfriends. He's, boxing and writing rap music and playing guitar. He's busy. So he doesn't need me to be there every weekend. And my younger son, he's got his own program as well. So I see them when they want to see me. But now it's a little bit time for me. And my home base is in L.A. I sold my house in New York. I have one home. And this is home base. When I come to New York now, it's nice. I stay in a hotel in Manhattan, and I enjoy the city. As a kid who grew up in Brooklyn, there was always that kind of allure and charm of, quote-unquote, the city.
Yeah,
People from the boroughs, called it, and the kids from the suburbs were, intimidated by it. It was like, ooh, the big city, And I guess, coming from New York, listen, New York is like the realest place in America. So coming from New York, everything else has an element of it seems like bullshit.
Yeah.
every place a little bit slower. I'll tell you the main difference in New York and LA. LA is slower. You walk into a store and you go, there's someone behind the counter and say, may I help you? And say, yeah, I want this, and that. Get your patience out because people aren't chop. Like in New York, there's a charm to walking into a place where, some place is so busy that everyone's like, it's like Joe's Pizza on a Friday night at 3 in the morning on Bleecker and Carmine Street, right up 6th Avenue. There's a line out the door, and hey, what do you want? 3? Here you go. That doesn't exist out here.
You're in and out.
People don't come outside of themselves. People are very reserved out here, and they're guys like you and me, Paulie, who walk in and say, "Hey, check it out, I'm Paulie, and this is what we're going to do right now." Like, what? What is this guy? I'm nervous,
I'm nervous.
Freaking me out.
I know it's so
People
funny
are
in New
like,
York, though. It's like it's no big deal. It's like, I'm a maniac, and it's just I fit right in. And even in LA, what you talk about the slowness, and I'll tell you the truth, like people, my friends that live out there, and every time I go out there, it's like they do one thing for the day. I'm like, so what are you guys doing on Tuesday then? Well, I have to get a haircut. Okay, what else? No, that's about it. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, what?
Well, that's because, let me tell you, that's because you're either because you're younger than me and you have younger friends, or because it could be because your friends are just lazy bums who aren't successful.
Oh, no, but I heard just in general that, like you said, the pace is slower, like because you got to drive everywhere, things are spread out. You can't get in. I mean, that was an exaggeration, but you know what I mean? Like you might do two, three things.
There is that mentality of like, there are people who call me up from time to time. No, they know now not to call me with this, but this is like an LA thing. It's noon. I get a phone call. Hey, what's happening, Holmes? Who's this? It's Ronnie. What's up, Ronnie? What are you doing? Nothing. Just kicking it. Okay, I don't know what that means. I live with hustle in my veins.
Right.
As we're speaking right now, Paulie, I'm answering emails. My personal assistant, Nisha, who's not only talented but cute, is sitting here, working on my giant whiteboard with all my to-do lists and my program. Because I own 6 or 7 different businesses, and I'm a busy person. I have ADD, and I'm an overachiever. So just kicking it, I say, well, call me when you're not just kicking it and you have something for me to do. Don't call me to entertain yourself because you're bored. Because, if you wait for the reality show to come out, you can tune in and watch it. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play.
Do you think that it's
there's an element of that.
But is that
LA by design? LA by design is made for people to be successful in the entertainment business because everybody else you need to meet is out here.
Right.
There's an up and a down. The bars close pretty early. Last call's 1:30. The bars are closed at 2. But you know what that means to me? That means you could be the last one there, still bring home a girl and fuck her, and get up early enough to make it to a meeting at fucking 8:30, 9 o'clock if you want.
No, but you know what's funny? It's interesting you say that because I do notice that too. Every time I'm out there, I find myself waking up early. Everyone's up earlier. Everyone's eating a little better. And not everyone's out till 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So it's almost like you know exactly where everyone's going to be. Like I think like when I was a kid handing out flyers for my band for our show, you go to New York and there's 1,000 different clubs and you could be out all night. Here, you go and okay, by 2 o'clock, everything's done. So everyone's out at the same time, a little bit earlier.
And you know what? Now, being, even though I lived a rock and roll outlaw lifestyle, I'm in my 40s, and I cherish the little bit of sleep that I do get. I don't sleep very much because I'm up on the computer. I'm up, me and my girlfriend carry on, late at night. And,
we're going to get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that really quick. That's probably the most interesting part of the conversation to the listeners. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm in the middle of 100 things. I couldn't be half as productive as I am here if I were living in New York or if I was living in Miami. Like when I go to Miami, I come home at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And then I got to sleep till 2 in the afternoon, and then I feel like shit. And when I go to Miami, I get nothing done.
See, that's interesting you say that. I don't wait. That's how I feel here. It's like being in New York. And I didn't know, I never equated it to being in New York, but I don't wake up, unless I really, really have to. I don't wake up before like noon. Like I'm eating breakfast at 1 in the afternoon.
Listen, once I go out and I'm in party mode, quote unquote, it's hard for me to turn it off. It's hard for me to be, I'm at the club, I'm at the booth, and the girls are dancing, the champagne is flowing, and everyone's hanging out, and the music's playing. Then you go, the responsible thing for me to do would be to dip out right now. It's hard for me to do that. So LA gives me like a safety zone where like, okay, it's done at 2 o'clock, and I fucking hate house parties.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Because there's that whole whack thing where, like, and it's strictly a drug thing. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't do drugs, there's no reason to go to a house party in LA. Because at 2 o'clock, anybody who hasn't decided I'm going home or I'm going home with you to fuck is just biding time because they want to do more drugs.
Well, you
And
remember that
I don't.
night? Remember when we were hanging out in L.A.? Me and you sang "Enter Sandman" with Steel Panther at House of Blues that night, and
I sure do.
yeah, and that was awesome. By the way, that was a fucking killer performance. And Corey Feldman was there, and we were hanging out with her, and it was actually a bunch of porn stars that was a crazy night. That was a lot of fun. But
And
anyway,
we ended up going back to Corey Feldman's
yeah.
house
Well,
for
I
his
didn't
after
go.
party.
I didn't
And
go. So
the only reason I agreed to go was I wanted to say hi to Corey, just because he just moved in a block from my house, and I was literally able to park my truck in front of my house and walk over to his house.
right.
And I knew I wouldn't be there long, and I thought it might be, I knew there was a bunch of chicks going there, and I was just going there to recruit. I wasn't going to hang out. I really don't like being out that late in
Well, did I
in
miss?
LA.
Well, the reason my gut, see, exactly what you said you can't do is what I'm very good at. Like, I knew I had a great time. I was like, look, I'm hanging out with porn stars. I'm hanging out with Corey Feldman and Evan Seinfeld, and I just sang with Steel Panther. And it's like, I'm having the time of my life, living the rock and roll dream. And then they're like, why don't we all go back to the house? The girls are coming. There are more girls coming. We're going to hang out. And something inside me said, you know what? Let's
Don't
just
go.
don't go. I don't know why, but just don't go. End it off on a good night. And I just had the vibe, like you said. I felt like I would be there in a situation that might be a little out of my league or uncomfortable because I don't do drugs and I don't. I mean, forget drug. I don't even drink alcohol. So it's like it's kind of weird. I don't like being that one guy that's like yeah, no thanks. I'll have a soda. Which is cool when you're out, but I think when you're at a house party, like you said, it's a
Well,
little awkward.
I had, I mean, it's no secret I'm pretty open. I'm involved with charities and, 12-step programs. And, I fucked up really bad on drugs when I was a teenager and into my I got sober when I was 20 years old. So, I don't drink and I don't do drugs. And, I don't mind being around people who are drinking and smoking weed, but I don't like being around people who are really on drugs. And,
Right.
It kind of makes me feel itchy and I don't like it. So, it makes it pretty easy for me to say, I'm just not going to go there.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel. Unfortunately, when there's a nice little segue to our food talk because when I'm a foodaholic. So the way people are with their cocaine and their alcohol, I have such great willpower with everything else in my life. But when it comes to food, it's terrible because I can be really good on my own and I can eat real healthy. But dude, if we were out and we were like hanging out and you would people pigging out and stuff, I can't resist. So I can't even imagine what it would be like to be an alcoholic and to then be around that temptation because I have no willpower. It's like, you want, another dude. You would talk about Joe's Pizza, right? There's a Joe's Pizza in Santa Monica. Did you go to that one?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I went there, and how many slices do you normally have if you went to Joe's Pizza? 2, 3?
Well, it's not really fair to ask me because I have I have problems with my stomach, so I don't eat like a regular person. I really would rather not get into the whole. I don't eat meals as they go.
Oh, okay.
I kind of graze all day, and I probably eat more food than you during the course of the day, but
not at the same time.
I in a perfect world, I go to Joe's. I get 2 slices. I scrape the cheese off of one and put it on the other. I probably eat 2, 3 slices, but.
Oh, okay. But that's what I'm saying. The average person would probably eat 2.
Eat that much. I like to eat one and walk away, and then come back an hour later and get another one.
All right. Well, the last time I was at Joe, the point is the average person you would say would eat 2, right? Maybe 3, but probably 2. The last time I was at Joe's Pizza, Evan, I had 10 slices. Okay, so let's just give you an idea of. Yeah, just to give you an idea.
I feel like I want 10 slices. Just I get really sick if I eat too much.
Right. Oh, of course. But that's what I'm saying. I get off on that kind of stuff. And then I get off on the attention. Like 2 months ago, I was at Wendy's. I ate 85 chicken nuggets. Why? No particular reason. Just because I like the attention. I don't, what's the point? I don't, it's just a thing. It's like, it's a sickness, I think. I don't know. But anyway, let's not analyze my mental state because my thing has always been food and girls. Those are the 2 things that I loved. And if you don't do drugs and you don't do drink, alcohol and smoking and stuff, you need other things.
Those have been my 2 things for a long time also. And now that I really can't eat how I want to, I've kind of doubled up on the girls.
Well,
from my lifestyle right now. My new website is up. And, for many of you who don't know, about me, I've been playing in Biohazard for 25 years, where one of the original metal bands that like kind of bordered on the hardcore scene and had hip hop in our music. And I'm an actor, and I'm doing a new movie right now with Forrest Whitaker and Gerard Butler. And I used to be on the show Oz on HBO. I've had some reality shows like I Know You Love Supergroup with Sebastian and Tim
Love
Nugent.
Oz. By the way, love
I try
Oz,
to do all
though.
these different things, but the majority of my business is in the porn world. And, I own two different studios, TerraVision and Iron Cross. I have a management company, and I have a new company with my girlfriend, Lupe Fuentes, the hottest girl in the world. And, I have an interesting lifestyle because, I have sex with lots of different girls, and unlike a lot of people in society, I don't lie about it, and I don't apologize for it. This is, to me, this is how I don't speak for men in general or other people. This is how I was built and designed. I was not meant to be in a monogamous sexual relationship, although, I can only really be in love with one person. I need to be in love with a person who understands my sexual appetites.
Right. Well, I think women in general, for the most part, don't understand that, guys. We can separate the two. It's like you can have, your heart can belong to one person, and and your dick can belong to everybody. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but we really can separate the two. I mean, and I don't think they can, which is why they have a hard time. Most of them have a very, very hard time with that because they equate the two together, and it's like, no, this girl means nothing. It's just playtime. It's just a physical, thing. But I mean, you're for people that don't know, because when I was talking to you the other day, by the way, we were hanging out at a strip club, but I didn't know that you were in the movies too. I just thought you directed, but you actually star in the movies, right?
Well, I actually have my own website, which is like a sexalog.
Okay.
It's like I wish I'd been filming all the years on the tour bus and in the backstage rooms. I really wish I had been, because the content would have been priceless. Because I was the bang bus before the bang bus,
Right.
And by the way, I'm eating while I'm talking to you.
Okay, I'm like wondering.
My girlfriend just brought me a giant tray of food.
Oh, you see? All right. I want to right now segue right into the food, but for my listeners, not for me, because I'm selfless, but for my listeners, we will continue because I know they want to hear about the porn stuff, but I want to hear about the food. That's how sick I am. Go ahead.
So anyway, the internet has everything you want to see. The movies that I've directed and produced, you can check out most of them at my trailer site, which is Terra Trailers, TERA trailers.com.
Right.
This pretty revolutionary. This was the first ever movie studio trailer site by any porn company in the history of the world, and this was mine. My personal website, which is my pet project, which literally is still I wouldn't say it's in beta, but this is the very first interview I've done since it's been live, because it went up on Friday evening, and it's now Monday morning, and we've just been testing it out and still putting the content up. It's called rockstarpornstar.com. It's the world's only celebrity porn site, meaning that I'm the only guy who's ever sold millions of albums and been on tour and been on a TV show and done anything outside of porn who's in porn.
Right. Well,
what I do.
My brother was in Playgirl. I don't know. You got some competition there, and we've sold a couple thousand CDs, my friend. So.
Okay. Well, your brother can listen. I'm not trying to be the only one. I'm just trying to be the first one.
Okay.
So your brother can follow in my footsteps.
Okay. We'll pass
the door's open for him.
We'll pass the torch down to him. All right.
So basically,
continue.
what I do is I pick out the girls.
Right.
And I have them come into my studio, and I do some glamour photos. I am a photographer as well. I do some photos with them, and I kind of loosen them up and talk to them. And I was always boggled. It always puzzled my mind. I used to watch porn when I was a kid. I used to watch Amber Lynn and Ginger Lynn and like all these old school porn chicks. And I used to always want to know about them. I used to be like, what happened with that girl? Like what was her growing up like? Did she go to high school? Did she go to college? Was she on drugs? Was she abused? Like, I always wanted to know how girls end up in porn.
Right.
Like guys, it's pretty obvious. Well, I can get paid and get laid at the same time. But society has a double standard, and a guy does it, he's a stud. A girl does it, she's a whore. So I'm not saying I believe in that. I'm just saying that's what most people in America would say or think.
Yeah.
If you meet Ron Jeremy, he's the man. You know, a girl meets some porn chick, unless the girl is really cool, she's like, it's you know, how can you do that? And even a lot of girls in porn end up regretting it, you know?
Well, it's funny, but there's a lot of them are really like going to school and stuff like that, right?
I made my ex. Listen, some of them are so normal, but what I'm getting at is I interview them and I find out all about them.
Okay.
And I kind of get in their heads a little bit, and then I have them strip, and then I fuck the shit out of them, for about an hour to 2 hours, super like hardcore roughhouse style. And
is that your audition process right there, basically?
Yeah, I test them out. I give them the rock star test. You know what I mean? I give them like the, you know, I just honestly I like the girls to enjoy it. So I kind of find out what they're into, and most girls, and I find out really like that kind of thing where like they feel like they're being dominated. You know?
The rough sex.
Not like violent, just like to be taken control of. Girls love that, and that's kind of the kind of sex that I usually give out.
And what do you look for? I'm just out of curiosity. Like, is there certain things?
Me personally.
Yeah.
Okay, looks-wise, I like girls who are fit, you know. I like girls who take care of their bodies. You know, my girlfriend has about, if she's more than 3% body fat, I'd be shocked. But she's absolute one of a kind. I love petite girls. I love round asses and firm tits and
fake or
pretty faces.
Does it matter to you, fake or
fake or real? It doesn't matter to me.
No
I don't like them too big.
What's too big for you? D? What would be too big?
Depends on the girl's size. Like my girlfriend's like a big B, but she only weighs 78 pounds. She's tiny.
Right.
So on her, it's kind of big, you know. But I like a girl with almost no tits if she has a nice ass and a nice curve. And for me, the most important thing for a girl is her attitude, her confidence, you know, her smile.
Oh, of course. The worst thing is when you get these hot girls. I see it all the time, too, at our shows. Like, they're so hot, and they open their mouth, and it's just like, you know, anything.
You shouldn't have talked.
Yeah, you should have said a word. And then you get someone that's okay, or maybe just like a little on the thicker side, and then they talk, and they got such a confidence and sexiness to their voice, and it just totally boosts up their numbers. It's amazing. Unbelievable.
Like, to me, and the number rating system really works. To me, if a girl smokes cigarettes, she's -3 automatically.
Really?
Right? Because I'm totally grossed out by smoke.
Okay.
Totally grossed out.
Me too.
It's not very rock and roll, but it's like modern day for me. I'm healthy, you know?
Don't worry about what's rock and roll, okay? I play for little, you know, preschool kids, all right? Let's.
I'm just saying,
I think you're fine.
A lot of people are always surprised. You know?
Yeah. But that's because people have stereotypes about everything. They want you to be what they want you to be. And to me, it's the people that wind up doing their own thing that wind up being remembered. I mean, think about it. You know, if Kiss put on the makeup, if I came to you now and there was no such thing as Kiss or Alice Cooper, and I said, I want to paint my face, you know, and I want to wear glitter and spandex and stuff, you would say, are you fucking crazy? That's not, you know what I'm saying?
I would say, Paulie, I was right the whole time. You're gay.
You bastard! All right, this interview is officially over. But what about when you're actually fucking them? I don't mean like what's attractive, but like when you're doing the girls, like, are you looking for certain things
I'm looking for one thing and one thing only. I'm looking for the connection. I'm looking to connect with the girl on an intangible level. Like we're spending an hour together,
right?
And my dick is deep inside you, and I'm trying to take you to another place, and I want to move that girl. I want to affect her. Like, you know, when you rock somebody's world, you know, forever and ever, that girl looks at you differently than she does a guy who didn't. You know?
Oh yeah.
But
I definitely know. I know.
I'm looking to make that connection. I'm looking to have a great experience and a great time and enjoy it.
But now, what if you don't? What if you don't make the connection?
It doesn't always happen that way. I had a lame scene last week.
Right. And would you not use her for a movie? I'm saying, like, when you're auditioning, like, let's say it was whatever, and you're just not feeling it. Would that be enough criteria to not use someone?
Well, when I'm looking for people for an actual movie.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is that I use every scene I shoot in a movie of some sort.
Okay.
So, like, like I like Latin girls, for instance, right? So when I shoot 5 scenes for Rockstar Porn Star that all feature Latinas, I'll make a DVD like when I put out. It's called Smoking Hot Latinas, right?
Okay.
And because people know what they like. No matter what anybody thinks, you're sitting next to somebody right now listening to this, they know exactly what they like. They jerk off to, big-titted blondes or girls that look like they're teenagers or, fat women or something. It may not be weird. It might just be like, I like round asses, whatever it may be.
Right.
People know what they like. No, I don't think there's a lot of people who are confused about it.
So you try to make it more specific to say like, okay, for people that like Latinas, here is a DVD for you.
Right, because if I just keep it as a variety, on the website is all the girls, and by DVD, somebody's making a decision to buy something. So, like my new DVD comes out in like 2 weeks. It's called Model Bitches Fucked Hard. Right. So these are all girls who were formerly in some sort of mainstream modeling. They're all tall. They're all pretty in the face. They're all pretty slim. And if you like the model type girl, you'll dig this movie. If you like the brand of stuff I produce. I mean, I've also made these big epic movies with my ex-wife where we went to Hawaii and we went to Hana and Maui and we shot on the edge of the volcano and in the waterfall and made this really pretty, couples friendly, sex,
Right. There's all different levels of the intensity. Like I was never a big, what's funny, if I had to pick, I'm more of a Penthouse guy. Like Hustler was always a little too much for me, and I didn't think the girls were as hot. And Playboy was a little, too nice for me. You know what I mean? It was a little too fair. And Penthouse for me was nice. Like I like those. You know that movie Pirates? You know that one, right?
Yeah.
That big one. Yeah, like I liked that one. It was like classy, but it was still pretty raunchy.
That's so funny. That was the best-selling porn movie of all time.
It's a great movie.
You're the first person to ever tell me you liked it.
I liked it a lot. I did.
To me, I don't want a bunch of story in my porn. And I want to see a bunch of porn people, if I know them all, trying to act in costumes. To me, but you know what? That's the beauty of it. You liked it.
I loved it, yeah.
And you loved it, you'll watch it again. And that's the whole point. It's entertainment, and it's people. You never really know what people are into because guys don't stand around the water cooler and go, I jerked off to that movie, young teenage Asians 5 times last night at the water cooler at work. They just don't. It's their own private thing.
Right. Well, I'll tell you the truth though. I bought the second one, and Pirates 2 is almost no sex in it, and I was totally pissed off because then it was just porn people acting with costumes. See, what I liked about the other one is, and I never sat down and actually watched a movie, just so you know. I fast forward, but I don't know, like you're saying, there's a mental thing in my brain that liked the fact that it was, done nice and it was classy and there was a story. I don't know why.
Some people, Paul, and it's usually more in the Midwest, it's usually more women than men, but it's everybody. Could be anybody. Feel bad or have a sense of dirtiness or guilt or shame to buying a movie called, Two Chicks and One Dick.
Right.
Where buying something that feels like it's a production doesn't feel as dirty. That's where the feature movie market is. Now, to me, I act in real movies and on real TV shows, so I don't want to be in something I wouldn't watch. So I don't like to make those kind of movies because, personally, people fast forward through it,
Yeah.
I do like scenario, you know what I mean? I do like a minute or 2 or 5 minute setup where,
The Pizza Boy or something.
No, the Pizza Boy. So, but I used to be the Pizza Boy. I worked for Lenny and John's Pizza for many years. And I got laid, boy. I'll tell you what. I had girls that used to call the delivery, Lenny and John's, and ask for me.
Wait, you were a real Pizza Boy that got laid?
I was the pizza guy at Lenny and John's Pizzeria on Flatbush Avenue between Flatlands and P next to St. Thomas Aquinas Church.
Right.
And I worked there for years. I kind of owed them my career because when I first started Biohazard, I worked there, and I would go on tour, and when I come back from tour, they give me my job back. I was a delivery guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was fucking half the girls in the neighborhood.
Oh, dude, I wish we were the same age because, man, me and you, we would have ruled Brooklyn together. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Forget it.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh my God. That would, well, you know what? But that's good. I'm glad to hear that because it's like, it's nice to see, so, you can, agree to this. When you're from Brooklyn, there's something about Brooklyn that there's like a certain patriotism to being from, you know what I mean? Like
I
certain
got it
people.
tattooed across my stomach, man. You're proud of where you came from.
Yeah, it's something about it. And it's just like, and there's not a lot of bands. I mean, how many bands can you think of that actually came from Brooklyn? All the members born and raised.
Just
Not,
a couple.
yeah, just a couple. Like probably you guys
Now
were.
it's biggest friends. Listen, now, like over the last, Biohazard was the first band that I knew that had Brooklyn as a logo. It was Biohazard, Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
I remember there were all these bands that kind of used to like try to emulate us, and they would even like move to Brooklyn and then say they were from Brooklyn. I was like, why? You just be proud of where you're from. Like if I was from Cleveland, I'd be like, yo, Cleveland, motherfucker. You know?
Right. Yeah,
But
but it ain't as cool.
because
It's not as cool though.
I might not be because I'd be from Cleveland. You know what I mean? I might not be as rowdy about it. You
Right.
know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Right.
But,
There's something about the Brooklyn, saying you're from Brooklyn that just kind of, I don't know, it resonates with people. It's like the CBGB shirts. You see people wear that and they've never even been to CBGBs, but it represents something. But you were a pizza boy in Brooklyn. So now I need to ask you, what is the best pizza in your opinion?
I wasn't a pizza boy. I was a pizza delivery guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I say boy? I didn't mean boy. Don't kill me. Please don't kill me. All right, pizza delivery guy. And since you were in the business, I need to know, favorite pizza, best pizza in the country. What would you say? Grimaldi's, L&B's, Spumoni, Joe's?
I like L&B Smony Gardens. It's more of a cuisine scene than it is just about the pizza. I don't think our pizza is nearly as good as some others. I think it's good when I do a pizza run, because I used to do a pizza run where I would have friends come from Europe or out of town and want to sample the good New York pizza, and I would do a run, and I would go through about, depending on how many people and how much time we had, I'd run through between, 5 and 6 or up to a dozen places, and understand you know what you know and you know the places to go, So, like, I lived in Brooklyn, and I lived in Manhattan, I lived in Long Island. So those are the places that I kind of know.
Okay.
I know 1 or 2 good places. I lived in Queens also. I know I've had really good pizza in the Bronx, but I don't really know it. You know what I mean?
No, but so if you went on a run right now, let's say me and you were going to have a party tomorrow, and we need pizza. Where you going?
I'd start in Long Island at a place in like New Hyde Park area in Mineola called Positano, right? Just for a regular Napoleon slice, right? Then I drive about 20 minutes. I just drive down the street to Original Umberto's in New Hyde Park and get some of their like fresh mozzarella pizza.
Okay, listen, Long Island.
Then I'd shoot, because you have to make it a round robin. You need time to digest in between.
Okay.
Then I'd shoot into Brooklyn, and I'd start in Canarsie, and I'd go down by the L train on Rockwood Parkway, and I'd go to Armando's, where that's the best Sicilian pizza, like Brooklyn, New York style Sicilian pizza, best in the world.
What is it called? What's it called?
Armando's.
Armando's, and where is it?
Hole in the wall place. It only fits about 5 people standing in there. It's like you gotta go through the window outside,
Okay, Armando's in Canarsie.
Right. It's so good that even when I worked with Lenny and John's, and you gotta stop at Lenny and John's for a slice and a rice ball, and that's my next stop. I usually once in a while crave a Sicilian corner, So I would go there and call them, and I'd call the guy Vince over there. I'd be Vince, I need all 4 corners off of pie, because people would stand there and wait for the corners.
You would say at this place in Canarsie, just the Sicilians, and for the slice, you go to L&J's.
L&J's, right? And then, if you're going to continue on through Brooklyn for like a pizza tour, your next stop is Spumoni Gardens. You got to go to Spumoni Gardens because it's like a historical place where all the Cuisines and the Guidos would hang out. And everyone would, it was a great place to go. I don't even like Spumoni. To me, Spumoni tastes like, some weird licorice or something, But you go to Spumoni Gardens, from there, I mean, a lot of people I know a lot of pizzerias and Bay Areas and stuff. There's a place called Da Vinci's on in Bensonhurst, and I like 64th and 18th Avenue.
Oh, that's where I live.
Yeah, it's a really good place.
There's
they have really good Sicilian as well. Not as good as Armando's. Different. You got to Da Vinci's when it first comes out. It's so hot. I love it. They like their ovens are a little hotter. Out in Staten Island, Brothers Pizza is great.
What about Grimaldi's? Everybody talks about Grimaldi's. What do you think?
Okay. Grimaldi's now. Patsy Grimaldi has two pizzerias. I think they have three pizzerias now. One is in Long Island in Garden City. One is under the Brooklyn Bridge, the original one, and they have one in Manhattan up in I think in Harlem.
Okay.
Now I think the one in Harlem is the original. It's up in Harlem. That's like the original one. If you really want the authentic Patsy Grimaldi's, you got to go there.
Okay.
The second one was the one under the Brooklyn Bridge. And his roommate Robert De Niro owns a piece of it. And the third one is in Long Island. And the one in Long Island doesn't even feel like you're in a pizzeria. It's so big and beautiful, you lose the whole vibe. But here's the deal with Grimaldi's. It's paper thin. It's the real deal brick oven pizza. But it has a shelf life where it has quality from the oven. It's good for about 5 minutes tops, maybe even less. And then it turns into mouchard like soup.
Right, because it's so thin.
It's so thin. So the idea is, if you went to the way to eat at Patsy's is you need to go there with, like the real way to do it. You go there with 7 people. You have 8 people, and you'd order a pie. You'd say, you know what? Give us 3 pies, but cook them 5 minutes apart.
Right.
So a pie comes out. We all have a slice. It's the best pizza you've had in months. The next pie, because if you and me got a pie, Paulie, and we sat down, we'd each eat a slice, would be the best. The second slice would be really good. The third slice would taste like shit.
Okay. All right, see, this is good to know. This is the kind of shit. This is the reason I started this podcast, just so everybody knows.
So, to me, I go into Manhattan next. Well, I go into Manhattan. I go to Patsy's up in Harlem, or I go to Patsy's down by the bridge, because you got to stop there for one slice. It's amazing. You can then go to John's Pizza on Bleecker Street.
John's on Bleecker.
Which is, that's the best sit-down pie in Manhattan, but you got to order a whole pie.
And you got to go to Joe's, too. Don't forget Joe's.
Right. Then you got to go to Joe's. And I actually would come back, because Joe's is a great late-night slice, just a vibe.
Right.
I like Joe's when it's lit with drunk people at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. The guys in Joe's know me so well, I come around behind the counter and bullshit with them.
Do you know Joe?
I know Joe. I know Joe very well. I know Alex. I know Sam. I know all the guys.
Yeah, Joe's a good buddy of mine too. I go every
Joe's
time I
out
go
here
there.
in California now.
Yeah.
Listen, when I have nothing to do, which is never, I ride my Harley. Get on my chopper and I ride out to the Joe's in Santa Monica, and I go there and I break Joe's balls, and his pizza's not half as good as it is in New York. That's what I do.
He told me.
How I
You know what Joe told me? He said that he has.
Let me guess. He told you he's got filters on the water. It's bullshit.
No. That's not what he told. Because I asked him about that. He said no, it's not. It has nothing to do with the water. He told me he has a Joe's in Brooklyn on Kings Highway. It's the best out of all of them. That's what he told me.
I heard that.
That's what he told me.
I'm not aware of it. I used to drive up and down Kings Highway. I'm not in that neck of the woods very often.
Yeah, well, that's what he told me and my drummer Joey when we were out there doing our 10 slices each. And he's like, you guys, got to go to Kings Highway. That's the best. And I'm like, yeah? Like, all right, I'm gonna go check it out. Well, listen.
Finishing up the pizza tour. Let me tell you where I go.
All right.
You go next to 6th Avenue. You go straight up from Joe's to 6th Avenue and Bleecker to 6th Avenue, 11th Street. And you go to the original Ray's Pizza. And this is where we're going to allow us to deviate from the norm, and you're going to get a slice with some toppings. Because they have the best peppers in the world. For some reason, you can get like a slice of like mushrooms and peppers or sausage and peppers, and then they hot pile all the other cheese on top of it, make it really big.
Okay.
I love that.
But this is the original.
Then, the original. They've been there for 75 years. So all the other Ray's pizzas in the fucking whole city are bullshit. This is the only one.
Okay, 6th and 11th.
They didn't spend the money on the trademark, so they're the original Ray's. There's a whole chain called Famous Ray's. There's nothing to do with it.
Oh, I see.
It's a bunch of Mexican guys putting parsley on the pizza and shit.
Why don't we come out, dude? Why don't me and you open up a store and just call it Pussy Pizza? And we'll just we'll use vagina juice in the ingredients, and people would just be like, dude, I feel like I'm having sex when I'm eating this slice of pizza. See, that's a $1 million idea.
You know what's funny? There was a scene in the TV series Oz when I was on the show where the mob boss tells this really cool, like, Godfather story about how in Italy, when a woman wants to possess a man's heart forever, she would menstruate into the sauce and feed him the sauce, and then the man would forever be under the woman's spell. It was very funny.
Oh, well,
and it's funny. Tom Fontana, who writes and created that show, put that in there because he probably thought it was funny.
Right.
And people are like, "Oh, that's sick." I'm sitting here talking, and Lupe and Nisha are across the room making a face like that.
It is pretty nasty.
The pizza tour. My girlfriend says she's going to do that. I'm not going to know. I made macaroni. Put your period blood in there. I shoot over the bridge into Queens now, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't even get over that. I'm trying to get that mental picture out of my head. All right, we're in Queens now. Go ahead.
We're over the bridge in Queens.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna stop in Astoria on Steinway Street at Rizzo's. Because Rizzo's has the really good upside down Sicilian.
What the hell's that?
Right. It's like the little small rectangle squares. It looks almost like the size looks like Elio's or like something you get at school as a kid.
Right.
But the cheese is under the sauce, and it's phenomenal.
But that's Spumoni Gardens does the same thing.
Spumoni Gardens has that also, but I like these guys better than Spumoni Gardens for this. Spumoni Gardens is good, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Spumoni Gardens.
Whoa, Rizzo's over Spumoni. Wow, I got to go there. You know what? I'm going there now. After this podcast, I'm actually going to do this. I have to listen back and write down all the places. And Evan, I'm going to do. When are you in New York again? Let's do this pizza tour. I'll drive.
I'll be in New York this weekend, but I can't do the pizza tour. I'm in the studio with two different projects, and I'm with my kid. And unless he wants to go, I'm at home.
Well, I have shows this weekend.
But Rizzo's has like a pastry quality to the dough. Like it's different. It's something totally different. Straight up pizza, I'd put Spumoni over Rizzo's. Rizzo's just a unique thing.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
All right.
It's something unique that I like. It feels like you're eating some sort of like the edges of the crust almost like a pie or a biscuit or something. Like it's got a Pillsbury quality to it. It's interesting.
All right, and is that the last stop?
And then the last stop is you got to go out to Middle Village, Queens, right?
Yeah.
You got to go to Middle Village, Queens, to a place called Rosa 2. It's like on 69th Road. And these guys make a lasagna slice.
A lasagna
That's
slice?
There's something about it. You can't have just one. It's like a Pringles. You know, you eat one and you got to have another. You can say, "Oh, I'm so full, I can't even hold it. Fuck, I'll take one to go."
Oh my God!
It's got like the ground beef and the mozzarella and the goat. It's phenomenal.
You are making me so hungry.
So,
all right, well, that is
back in the day.
pizza
Back in the day, I used to include New Park Pizza in Howard Beach was one of my stops.
Well, when
it was like a landmark.
We got it. We have to do this run. We can't talk about it and not actually do it. And if you want, we'll videotape it.
There's actually some guys. I actually spoke to this guy. There's a guy who contacted me on Facebook. Who's an old guy from who I knew from who knew me from the band or something. Who has a pizza tour. He does pizza tours of New York. And the guy, his name is Joe or something like that. Joey. But you can Google it. It's like pizza tour.
No, I don't want No, I don't want no commercialized pizza tour. I want the Evan Seinfeld.
This is like a guy named Joey from Ozone Park who's got a limousine.
But I don't. But Joey wasn't. Joey wasn't on Oz. Okay. I want a pizza tour with you.
I'm not saying I won't take you. I'm just saying.
Are you trying to get out of the pizza tour? You're trying to get out of taking me on the pizza tour.
Paulie, I'm not trying to get out of it. I'm just saying if you or your listeners really wanted to, check out some pizzerias, they like some of these that we're talking about.
Right.
But if they wanted to have a guided tour,
this is the guy.
The guy offers a service, and it's really, really cool. It's something that I want to do this guy's tour.
Well, all right. Well, maybe we'll do his tour.
Here's what we'll do, Paulie. Maybe we'll do this guy's tour together, and then we'll do another time. We'll do my run.
And then compare the tours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen.
But, like in the New York area, every neighborhood has like the one place that has something cool to it.
Oh,
like
of
when I lived in
course.
Williamsburg, there was a really good pizzeria. I still stop there. I don't even know the fucking name of the place.
Right.
It's like a hole in the wall place.
Hey, by the way,
Good.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but remember how we were talking earlier and you said, bro, I only got like maybe 15, 20 minutes. I can't talk. I've seduced you again with my words. I do this to all my guests. Once you start talking about food, you can't stop. We've been on for almost an hour. You know that, right? We've been talking for.
And I gotta go right now.
I know, but I'm just saying. Do you see how that works? This is why I love food, because it's like you start, you cannot stop. You've been talking about pizza for about a half an hour.
Okay, I gotta go right now though, 'cause I just realized I just got an email with an emergency here.
All right, but I need you to just do a quick station ID. Can you just say, this is Evan
I have to
Seinfeld?
do
Listen
station ID.
Go ahead.
What is it gonna say?
You just you say this. Hey, this is Evan Seinfeld, and you're listening to the Paulie Z Show. Ready? Go.
Hey, this is Evan Seinfeld, and you're listening to the Paulie Z Show.
You are the man, dude. Thank you so much. Go take care of your thing. We'll talk later, okay?
You got it. Bye.
All right. That was Evan Seinfeld with the pizza tour and the juicy porn gossip. I like that. I think we have to get him on again so we can talk a little bit more about that stuff. So, well, let's see. Let's do maybe some Yo Paulie. We haven't done that in a while. The last few shows have been like, I mean, people can talk. These could be like 4-hour episodes here. But I think we have a little bit of time. So let's see. Maybe we'll do some Yo Paulie right now. Let me see what I got. We have one from Benny Jablonski. I love your podcast. Thanks. They are great for my rotten commute home from work. I really enjoyed Rod Morgenstein's interview and actually learned quite a bit from both of you. I never realized those stupid Beavis and Butthead shows hurt wingers so much. I saw them years ago at Toad's Place in New Haven, and they were awesome. Keep up the great work, both in ZO2, Z-Rock, and your podcast. They are just the right length for my commute. Yeah, it's funny because when we first started, it was like, oh, how long should these be? Like 15 minutes, a half hour? And they were kind of like 30 minutes, and then we had like the bonus, which was like another 10 minutes or so. And now, I don't know if people have noticed, but we don't do the bonus anymore. And the reason is because we're kind of, now that we're sort of feeling things out and kind of getting our form, it seems like, a nice, I'm trying to keep the shows to an hour. And I don't think you need the bonus footage because most people are listening to it on their iPod or, on the car ride home or wherever, and not necessarily on their computer at home. So, so for anyone who's been asking me, because I got some emails about where's the bonus stuff, that's kind of the reason. We're just going to do now, like, keep it to like a 60-minute, which is a good, like, commuting time, I guess, length of time. And, and the whole show will be great, so you won't need bonus. There's no point of having a bonus. So anyway, thank you, Benny, for that. And yes, the Rod Morgenstein was very insightful, very smart guy. Let's see who else I got here. Hold on. I have Abron, A-B-R-A-N. Okay, Yo Paulie, been a fan since 04, 11 years old then, 17 now. Look at that. Your music inspired me to be a musician. I can do things on a drum kit that most professional drummers around me can't. My dream is to be a musician. For the past 6 years, I've been studying the music biz. But just in case, do you got any tips for me? Oh, love the podcast too. I feel like I read this before. Alex, did I do these messages before? No, right? Okay, maybe it's just because I've read them and I've been meaning to. Yeah, and I apologize to everybody out there. I mean, definitely keep emailing me because, I haven't gotten to these because the last few interviews have been so long. And, it's once you get into conversation with these guys, it's really tough to stop because it's just, free flowing and they have a lot of stuff they want to say. And, but I'm going to definitely try to make enough time to answer all these. So anyway, Abron, let's see, in case, what kind of tips? Well, the tips I can say is understand right now that the industry is not what it used to be. You can't go by what people did 30 years ago, and think, oh, that's how to make it. It is such a different world. And it's like the wild, wild west out there. You have to find new ways of making a living. And so my biggest advice is to try different things, find different avenues. Like even this podcast, I would have never really thought of doing this years ago. I thought, yeah, I'll be a band, a rock star on a tour and I make records and that's how I make my living. Well, it turned out, you have we have a TV show and I have a podcast and I do kids music and I teach guitar and I'm also in a rock band and I'm this and I'm that and that, because you have to have multiple things. So I would say really try to develop multiple talents. I mean, everyone's got things that they're good at, and whatever it is you're good at, try to develop that, because you never know where that'll lead, and you might be successful as a musician, but through a different avenue that you didn't think. For us, it was the TV show. We would have never thought we had a TV show, and that has really propelled our band to a higher level. And it was a surprise. It was a very nice surprise. So that would be one of my advice. I mean, there's a lot of advice I would have, but I don't want to give it all away now. Let's see. Let's see another one here. This one is from Tom. Okay, yo, Paulie Z. See, that's the way to start an email. All right, from now on, everybody just got to write me, yo, Paulie Z. Okay, how you doing? Loving the podcast here in Columbus. They get better each week. I did want to ask, though, as we know by now how much you love food and music, what movies do you enjoy? Do you have any particular favorite film or genre? Ah, that's interesting. Yes, well, as you know, I do really enjoy pirate movies, especially with graphic sex scenes in them. I have to say, I do recommend that movie. I mean, I don't know why. I can see why other people don't like it, but I'm a romantic. I'm a Pisces, so it's like I'm a hopeless romantic, and it's like I like some costumes. I like some, animated skeletons and and swashbuckling in my porn, and I highly recommend Pirates. The first one. The second one is not even worth the money. It's like there's no blowjobs or anything. It's like pathetic. It's a waste of money. But the first one is awesome, I think. As far as real movies, though, like, Spinal Tap, that's an obvious one. That's one of my top favorite movies. But believe it or not, my favorite movie of all time, and this is going to blow your minds because you're going to be like, what? But it is Conan the Barbarian. Favorite movie of all time. I don't know why. It's just the music, the power, and just like it was almost, to me, it was like the original 300. It was like more about the art than it was about it was very little dialogue, and it was all about the visual, the music, and just the grandiose weapons and costumes and the scenery. It's just, I don't know, it's just something about that movie really, really gets to me. So Conan the Barbarian, my favorite movie of all time. Okay, I sound like Glenn Hughes now. All right, let's see. You want to do one more? Let's do one more. Okay, well, this one's a short one. Carol says, no bonus for episode 10, and a sad face. And I already explained that. That's because, that is because we're just, like I said, we're just putting everything into the show. All right, here's one more from Jeff. Hey, enjoying the podcast. Saw you guys when you played this past summer. Great show. Things that would be cool to hear you talk about could be favorite songs, guilty pleasure songs, best albums, favorite guitar solos, favorite concerts you've been to, least favorites. Okay, well, obviously I'm not going to go through all of that right now because we're running out of time. What do we got, Alex? How much time?
4 minutes.
I 4 minutes? That's it? Oh, my God. I can't even do a food review? All right, I'm going to do a quick food review before this is over. But one of my favorite concerts ever, and again, you're going to be like, what? But it'll kind of make sense when you hear it. Manowar at BB King's. When I saw Manowar, it was the most incredible, powerful experience. The sound, they had their own PA. They brought in their own PA. And it's just the best sounding concert I ever heard. Just the most powerful concert I ever heard. And I'm a big Manowar freak. Now you can see why I like Conan the Barbarian as my favorite movie. Obviously any Kiss concert I've ever been to has been amazing. I mean, I'll try to pepper the show with stuff like that too. All right. So, but right now we're running out of time, so I don't want to go too crazy. But I would like to say that I went to this place. I went with my uncle, actually. There's another big foodie. My whole family are foodies, but I went to a place he took me called the Redhead. Now this is in the Village in New York City. It's on 13th Street, like between 1st and 2nd Avenue. And it is, they're known for their buttermilk fried chicken. Now, I just want to tell you, I usually don't get fried stuff. When I was a kid, I ate a lot of fried stuff. But right now, I try to stay away from the fried shit. I mean, I eat, big portions, but I usually try to eat more on the healthier side if I can. But they have the buttermilk fried chicken. It is by far the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life. It's unbelievable. I don't know if it's just like they're killing the chickens in the back, or they're sprinkling like heroin on it or whatever it is, but it's so juicy, so soft, and it's not like that deep fried, batter. It's like, it's just crispy and light. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Also, they have a dish called shrimp with grits. Now, there's not too many places that especially in New York, not that I know of, that you can go and order grits. All right, so this is, and what's cool about it is they have the entree portion, and then they have a lunch portion, not a lunch, like an appetizer portion that you can get for less money. And what I did was I got the shrimp and grits as an appetizer, so that I had that, and then I got the buttermilk chicken. I also got pork chops. So talk about eating healthy, but their pork chops were out of this world. A little bit fatty on the edges, but not too much. I mean, it added to the flavor. If you don't like it, you can just cut it right off. But the pork chops were just very, very succulent, good flavor, good seasoning. And they're also known for their peanut brittle. But I have to be honest, I was a little disappointed. It's $5, and I thought it was going to be something interesting. It's really just peanuts in a little thing. But what they do is they fry, they like toss it in with little chunks of bacon and in bacon oil. So it actually sounds really good, and the taste was good. But I'll be honest, for $5, I don't know. It was like a little cup of peanuts. And I'm like, I immediately regretted that decision. So I don't know. I think it's a waste of money. I don't think you need it. But definitely check out the Redhead. I have others, but we'll have to save it for next time because we're running out of time. So anyway, make sure you go to the website. It's thePaulieZShow.com. Make sure you email me at yopaulie@thePaulieZShow.com. And you know what? Leave your phone number. You never know. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe leave your phone number on your email. You never know. We'll see what happens. And you can follow me on my Twitter, which is twitter.com/ZO2Paulie. Also, the band sites is ZO2.com, MySpace/ZO2. And also, we have a new Facebook, by the way. It's been having some problems, so if you can't access the page, we're trying to fix it. It's a Facebook bug. I apologize for it, but it's Facebook/ZO2Band. I think that's it, right, as far as plugs. Alex, anything else? He said that's it. I'm good. All right, so I want to thank Evan Seinfeld for a very interesting, a very juicy conversation, and I do, pun intended. And I'll see you guys next time. All right? All right, later. She's in love with the